Hello everyone, welcome back to, hopefully, the finale of Retro Totally Not Going Through a Parasocial Hood with Mila Month. Yeah, and same here. Yeah, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews also, and, yeah, how do I say this with the final movie? I'm not kidding, when I discussed this last week with the finale of, Resident Evil Month, as far as live-action movies go. This movie was basically, without question, perfect. Oh, good, a quote from Fifth Element. Yes, let's just get this over with. Now, Retro, what's the real reason why you did this time? Is it a parasocial thing? Is it because you love certain, scenes with all of, Mila's body this time around? Or anything weird or disgusting as like usual? No, I just thought it'd be a cool tribute episode to Bruce Willis. Yeah, I'm very much aware last year he finally got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and here goes the figures. Yeah, it wouldn't be my channel if things are knocking over, so let's just keep this basic. Yeah, I'm pretty much aware that I haven't really gotten around to doing a full proper tribute review of the guy, and I'm probably planning a certain other big franchise he was in for a good number of years to do as a Christmas review, so if that doesn't lead to any clues, then I don't know what will. Anyway, ultimately, yeah, let's just get this review over with. This is directed by Luc Besson of, Leon, or Leon the Professional, depending on how you want to say the title in French or English. Yes, you are seeing, Bruce Willis, Milla Jovovich, and Jean-Baptiste Zorg himself, played by Gary Oldman, also previously in, I think in Leon Professional, when, working with, Luc Besson. So, anyway, let's get to the most obvious famous image here, the multi-pass of it all, if you will. What can I say about Mila's Lilu that hasn't already been said for most reviewers and critics? And getting to the most obvious thing out of the room, yeah, Electric could go ahead and say, this whole stupid review series was because he saw Deca Xiao's Summer of Mila. So can we just agree to disagree that this is finally over? Yeah, sure. But before we get to that, and closing out my thoughts on the actress in question, speaking of the most obvious cosplayed thing I guess Mila's ever done in her career, so much so that even Ever Anderson, her then daughter later in life, did it for the gram. Won't get the picture or look it up myself, so Google it yourself if you want to. That's not that hard, honestly. As for Bruce, yeah, the great Corbin Dallas himself, he is definitely as advertised as a generic, I guess, sci-fi action hero of the time, and keep in mind this is 1 year before Armageddon basically cemented that basically the late to mid-90s was basically Bruce's best time for his career. You can honestly tell from my previous review, the start of his mid-90s, Die Hard with a Vengeance during COVID, as far as retro reviews go. And like I said there, this is basically peak Willis. The same with the hair, too. This is probably the last time you're going to be seeing him with that much head of hair, because if you've seen the later half of his career, oh boy, does he commit to the baldness in a probably cool way than usual. Oh, good. I have a future if I ever get bald again to look like him. So, why the hell am I here? Well, as much as I would love to go on and on about certain comic relief characters I forgot to mention, we're gonna keep the story basic. Yeah, let's get to the aliens themselves. For the bodyguardsmen, for the Fifth Element herself, they look great. The practical effects are fantastic. Speaking of, they're doing a mix of what the late 90s were getting known for, mixing miniature and CG at the time. And you can definitely tell that the VFX team that worked with this is on their A game with a lot of scenes. Obviously, the taxi cab chase sequence comes to mind in my head when it comes to Neo New York, or whatever they call it, Future New York. In this movie, leading up to the cruise and leading up to the mission itself. Speaking of, let's talk about Agonaut and the boys over here. Yeah, these grunt aliens are pretty iconic. I have a lot of iconography, a lot of decent, like, mid-range CG of the time, and it's very cool and very obvious. So, as much as I would love to go full-on spoilers with this, you have to see it for yourself. As I said, this is a big movie for not only Bruce Willis's career in that era, but obviously the debut, I guess, for Mila's action style of, I guess, you know, acting as time went on. Obviously leading into, what we just discussed here on the channel, the Resident Evil series. So, my apologies for keeping this short. I'm doing this from memory, and in case you could tell, there's a lot of plot out there, and I highly recommend Deca Shadow's review if you want to sit through that and the entire Summer of Mila playlist. So, until then, yeah, my overall thoughts with sitting through this month. I wished I did all the movies. I wished I had time to basically do them all in actual viewing order instead of just going, like, 6 out of the 7 here from memory, like, Electro said. Told you it was a bad idea! But this, you know, Halloween, like any other holidays there's going to be a rush like usual. So, with that all being said, I think I've done my therapy session when it comes to talking about this lady once and for all here on the channel, and I look forward to probably future reviews I'm going to have to do, because I didn't talk about Ultraviolet yet, and I've been meaning to do that since the beginning of the pandemic. Oh, come on, really? Yeah, until future retro reviews aside, I know this is probably the most brief description of the fifth element you probably ever saw on the internet. Keep in mind, there have been people who have diatribes about this. I believe, some even went through full retrospectives. I'm going to have the link to that as well. So with that all being said, what did you think of my, I think, the quickest from memory retro review I've ever done? My apologies there. And to that all being said, I really do wish you enjoyed this movie just as much as I did as a kid. This is the groundbreaker of like mid-90s like sci-fi, and it's absolutely worth cosplaying literally everything and every character. Trust me when I say that. So with that all being said, end card's finally coming up to a very confused Electra. Wow, you're speedrunning. You're very much a Resident Evil cosplayer. Yes, to me, I'm assuming Retro's soon-to-be, I guess, Critical Role short for the finale of Chapter 2 of Candela Obscura, or the Mighty Night Reunion. Which was it this time? Yeah, and go to Retro being arming than usual. Yeah, to the previous video, which was obviously my rundown with every new Marvel Legends updates that I've been having so far on the Clone Saga side of things, or I guess adjacent with Ben. That all being said, and the wow, that can't believe that's happening. Yeah, we are the I guess adjacent retro team for this retro perspective for Mila Jovovich / Resident Evil month. And, yeah, non-spoilers aside, this is actually a good movie. It had a lot of cool things and decent stuff, and no, I totally didn't have the hots for the diva and how she belted mid-track, and it was, like, a very unique experience. Dude, you really excited for that lady? You do know she was one of Lupasan's former ex-wives, right? No, kind of, maybe. Oh, great, I'm not the only one parasocial here. Lovely.